Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another edition of Flashback Fridays, and what I have for you today is the Funko Disney Afternoon Baloo from Tailspin. Sorry, I don't know the little jingle for that one. It's been quite some time since your boys checked out good old Tailspin, but, of course, before we get into the meat and taters of this review, since I no longer have the packaging for this figure, let us first take a look-see at his accessories. And just like Throwback Thursday yesterday with Mongo Overkill, he comes with jack squat. But, that said, you do get a pretty hefty figure in the package. So taking a closer look at Baloo here. And all I can say is Disney got their mileage out of this character design. Of course, he was both Baloo in the Jungle Book and, of course, Tailspin. But he was also Prince John in Robin Hood, just painted brown. That said, they also got their mileage out of the voice actor for Baloo, Phil Harris, who I don't believe reprised the role here because it was quite some time after both the Jungle Book and Robin Hood, and I do believe he was in Aristocats and maybe a couple other films. I don't know, he was a good friend of Walt Disney, so it makes sense as to why he was a mainstay in the casting for a lot of their animated movies in the late 60s, early 70s, but this show came out in, want to say, the very tail end of the 80s and the early 90s, and honestly, out of all the figures I've reviewed in this Disney Afternoon line from Funko, this is the show I actually watched the most. Do I remember much of it? Unfortunately, no. I do remember that, well, there was a chick bear, there's a couple little kid bears, and there were some other characters. Was the panther from Jungle Book in this show? Is it Chiagra? I believe that's his name. I want to say he worked on the planes. But after watching a lot of the videos over on Channel Awesome involving the Nostalgia Critic, I know a little bit more about this show. I know that there's a Kid Cloud Kicker, and King Louie was in this show, who was also in this line. We'll take a look at him next week. As well as Shere Khan, voiced by the late, great Tony Jay, a.k.a. George Claude Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, who also reprised Shere Khan in later Jungle Book projects, so that's pretty cool. Again, not sure who voiced Baloo, so let me know who did that in the comments below, but there's a lot going on with this show. There's this air pirate, sky pirate, Don Carnage. Wish they made a figure of him. A very interesting character. I always joke around when I review a Carnage figure from Marvel Legends or Marvel anything really. I always call him Don Carnage. Side note, but I guess with you know, a million tangents out of the way, let's actually talk about this guy's articulation. He's got a ball joint in the head. He gets the best head range out of anyone in this line. You look up and down pretty well. Tilt side to side. Look side to side. His shoulders go out as far as the little nubbins on his shoulders will allow. Move back down, they move all the way around. He's got a single joint in the elbow. Gives you two notches there, just about 90 degrees. He's got a waist swivel. And then he's got the dreaded V-cut hips that don't amount to crap, so I don't even know why they're there in the first place. I guess for adjustments. He does have peg holes at the bottom of his feet, though, which... hold on a second. Oh, no, they all do. Scrooge has them. For whatever reason, I did not remember Scrooge McDuck having the peg holes, but he does. That said, this guy is a chunky figure. He is probably closer to your 5-inch scale. Or 5 inches in height, I should say. If this guy was 5-inch scale, he'd be at least as big as one of the gargoyles. That said, as far as scaling with the rest of this line, yeah, we're going to get into that in just a minute here, but that being said, it looks like Baloo from Tailspin, so if you wanted a figure of Baloo from Tailspin, you could get one. That said, there is a vintage line from, is it Mattel or Kenner? Based off the series as well, which had some unreleased characters like Shere Khan, speaking of which. And there was also a line of die-cast planes with the characters in it. Now, I'm not sure who all got made in that series, but of course there was a Baloo. I think there was a Kid Cloud Kicker. Not sure if there was a Shere Khan or Don Carnage in those, but it would be nice to maybe get a hold of those and check them out at some point. But with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Baloo next to another figure from this Funko Disney Afternoon line, Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales. Woo! I'm sorry, I'll stop at some point, but can't help but doing that every time I pull this figure out, man. You just have to. And we also have the Super 7 Disney Ultimates Sorcerer's Apprentice, Mickey Mouse, from Fantasia. And as you can see, while Baloo may be a bigger figure in Funko Disney Afternoon line, he is definitely not to scale with either Scrooge McDuck or the Sorcerer's Apprentice version of good old Mickey Mouse here. He is much too small. He should at least be a 7-inch figure. So, Super 7, again, buddy, get on this. I'd love to see an Ultimate of Baloo that can both be from the Jungle Book and from Tailspin. I think that would be really cool. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Livid Spawn, who as usual, powers over to everyone. And last I checked, good old Al Simmons here's bare necessities were a lot of guns and a lot of sharp pointy things. I mean, a lot of guns and a lot of sharp pointy things. Made to kill people. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and as I said before in my Funko Disney Afternoon reviews, if you want a figure of this particular look for Baloo, or if you want to add to your Disney Afternoon or Tailspin collection, then by all means, this is the guy for you. That said, my only real gripe with this figure is that all you get's the figure, and he's not particularly a fun one like Gizmo Duck was, so he does come off a little bit lacking. That said, I'm not entirely sure what accessory he could have come with other than, I don't know, a freaking plane, but considering the fact that Funko had a difficult enough time completing teams, Rescue Rangers, I don't think that was really on the table. So, with that being said, if you just want a cool little figure of Baloo as he looked in Tailspin, then again, this is your man. And last I checked, he was one of the cheaper ones from this line on the secondary market. So, by all means, have at it. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of Flashback Fridays. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when people won't recognize bare necessities as the Hakuna Matata of its time. I mean, I love Hakuna Matata and all, but we wouldn't have that without the bare necessities, so give it the credit it deserves, dang it. Till next time, catch you guys later.